What is your favorite part of summer? For me, it's the food. I'm talking that summertime diner food. Burgers, fries, those late night tacos, you know the ones. But my favorite, ice cream. And I'm talking all ice cream, all forms. I don't discriminate. Scoops, shakes, swirls, I'm here for it all. This one time, a few years back, me and a buddy were walking into our absolute favorite ice cream place. Now, we'd always been frequent flyers there, but this particular summer, I visited multiple times, like every week. So much so, they started greeting me by name. The first time I heard, "Hey, Christoph," I smiled way too big, like school picture day big. I thought to myself, I made it, baby. Hey, I'm Christoph. And it really meant something to me that they knew my name. And that's still true today. When someone takes the time to know my name, it makes me feel like I really matter, like someone's paying attention. It's so easy nowadays to just feel like another face in the crowd or another account on socials, just someone people scroll by, am I right? Today, we're going to take a look in the Bible and talk about what it means that we are uniquely designed by God. We are not just another face in the crowd to God, and I can show you. Here, let's read about this kid in the Bible named Samuel and see what it teaches us about who God is and how he sees us. So Samuel is a major player in the story of God's people. He was a prophet, he led people, he anointed kings. But here we meet the kid Samuel. No one knew who he was yet. And at this time, God and his people weren't exactly on great speaking terms. The people had drifted away from following God, and as a result, God speaking to people was pretty rare. Samuel was basically an apprentice under the temple priest named Eli. Eli was getting old and couldn't see very well, so Samuel slept in the temple to be close to him if he needed something. So Samuel is lying down here, trying to catch some Z's. Let's pick up here in 1 Samuel chapter 3, verses 4 through 6. It says, "Then the Lord called Samuel, and he answered, 'Here I am.' He ran to Eli and said, 'Here I am. You called me?' 'I didn't call,' Eli replied. 'Go back and lie down.' So he went and lay down. Once again, the Lord called, 'Samuel.' Samuel got up, went to Eli and said, 'Here I am. You called me?' 'I didn't call, my son,' he replied. 'Go back and lie down.'" Samuel was trying to sleep and heard someone call for him. Naturally, he assumed it was Eli, his mentor. So Samuel got up and went to Eli. But Eli's like, wasn't me. Samuel went back to where he was, lay back down, and then the same thing happened again. He goes back to see Eli. Maybe he needed something, right? But again, Eli was like, "Nah, man, I didn't call for you." Confused yet? Let's keep going. Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, because the word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him. Once again, for the third time, the Lord called Samuel. He got up, went to Eli and said, "Here I am. You called me?" Then Eli understood that the Lord was calling the boy. He told Samuel, "Go and lie down. If he calls you, say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" So Samuel went and lay down in his place. The Lord came, stood there, and called as before, "Samuel, Samuel." Samuel responded, "Speak, for your servant is listening." This was a big deal. Samuel was young and he didn't have direct experience with God. And here we have God speaking directly to him, and not in some generic, obligatory way. In a time in history when no one was really hearing from God, God spoke to Samuel, and he called Samuel by name, like a lot. Now, the question we need to be asking is, what does this tell us about God? Well, for one, it tells us that God is personal. God didn't say, "Hey, kid." He called Samuel by his name. God knew who Samuel was, and he knew who Samuel would become. These verses also help us to see that God is persistent. God didn't give up or stop calling out to Samuel when he didn't immediately realize what was going on. God kept pursuing Samuel. This is good news for you and me, because it means the God we follow isn't some distant God that's just a mystery to us. He knows us by name. And like Samuel, he has a distinct and unique design for our lives. We are marked by his signature. Okay, so back to the passage. Now that God had Samuel's attention, what was this important message God had to share? Well, it wasn't great. God told Samuel that his mentor Eli and Eli's whole family were all going to be punished for not obeying and honoring God. Eli knew his family had been going against God, but he didn't do anything to stop it. Yikes. Obviously, Samuel probably wasn't pumped to tell Eli this news, but Eli insisted, and Samuel told Eli what God had said. And how did this priest respond? Let's check it out. He is the Lord. Let him do what he thinks is good. Eli knew this message was from God, and he accepted it. So what does this have to do with us? Here's where we need to zoom in. God knew Samuel and had a purpose for his life. Samuel wasn't just another face in the crowd. He was known and pursued by a personal God that knew his name. And what happened to Samuel? Let's check it out here in the last part of this chapter, starting in verse 19. Samuel grew. The Lord was with him, and he fulfilled everything Samuel prophesied. All Israel, from Dan to Beersheba, knew that Samuel was a confirmed prophet of the Lord. The Lord continued to appear in Shiloh because there he revealed himself to Samuel by his word. And Samuel's words came to all Israel. After God called Samuel by name, his life was never the same. He came to be someone who people relied on to hear from God and to give them direction. God walked closely with Samuel, and in response, Samuel walked closely with God. So what about you? What about me? Here's what's true. Every person is uniquely designed by God. We are marked by his signature. He is a personal God who knows every detail of who we are. Even our names matter to him. Just as God called Samuel, he calls each of us by name, inviting us to live what Jesus called life to the full, knowing that he made us and loves us. His signature on our lives is unique and specific, a reminder that we are seen, known, and deeply valued by God, the one who created us. He knows what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're carrying. He knows who you are today, who you're becoming, and who he created you to be. And in all of it, he cares. You are not a blur in the background. You are uniquely designed, seen, and loved. You are not just another face in the crowd to God. When he calls you to him, he calls you by name.